everybody who is watching this fantastic video. My name is Olenjolai Moko TAYAI Single. Simply just call me Olenjolai. I'm real sounding from the beautiful country that's called Tanzania, and this is our national flag. So if you're Tanzanians, you can wave your own national flag, because really this is the place where God lives. We love foreigners. I would like to greet all the international and national viewers who are watching this program right now. You're warmly welcome, and I have a good news for you today, so stay tuned and stay connected. I would like just to spend just a few minutes to give you a little introductions before we go into the today's session. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome both international and national, all national and international viewers in our online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania and square bracket Olenjolai. Simultaneously, because I'm teaching you mathematics, I'd like to welcome you into one of our YouTube channels that called Online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania and square bracket Olenjolai. Well, in these online institutions, diploma institutions, we are here to dedicate and pour out our life from on what that God has been teaching us concerning about preparing the basic technicians for the advancements of the economic and the life standard of the nations, and especially Tanzania. So, well, as I said, that my name is Olenjolai. I'm from Tanzania. Well, I'm here just to share with you good news. And this is one of our online institutions which we are dedicating our contents to the all basic technicians who are national and international. However, that we are going to have a fundamental focus, which is the syllabus and curriculums of Tanzania that has been prepared by the National Council of Technical Educations in Tanzania. That's called the NACTE, right? So that's our primary focus that we are going to take. However, that for instance, that we have in the part, we are going to discuss about differential questions, and especially ordinary differential questions. The general overview of differential questions are the one of the interesting contents of the calculus. So you see, so this is universal contents, because we at Tanzania, we have never discovered anything about the differential questions. We are just adapted, we have accepted the knowledge, and we are using in our everyday life. So, but again, I know that you are asking yourself so many questions. What the visions of these platforms, because you know that you meet it maybe accidentally, and then you have so many questions as the basic technicians or as ordinary diploma students of first year, second year, or third year. You've been asking yourself so many questions. How can you learn and master basic engineering, scientific mathematics? Possibly you've been wondering, are the parents or are the sponsor or are the guardians that maybe you are kids or you have children who are pursuing ordinary diploma in the formal college or institutions or university in Tanzania, or maybe in Africa, or in any country around the world. And then so you've been wondering, so they have been reporting to you that your kids, they are getting troubles in mathematics. Who can help them? Who can teach them? How they can learn this stuff online, and even that without any physical contact. And then how they can ask you questions. So you have so many questions that you're asking around. So, well, some of the questions are going to be answered in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania. And those questions all about basic mathematics, basic engineering and scientific mathematics for the basic technicians. So we are here to prepare competence-based technicians. So, well, what the visions we have in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania? That's the good questions. Well, so the vision that we have in this fantastic institution is actually that you like to teach our students, or we have an assignment to teach and train some students who will be ready to extract knowledge in core and fundamental causes of the formal educations, and combine with the knowledge and wisdoms extracted from the Word of God that written in the Holy Bible, and combine these two knowledge in order to solve real life problems. So, well, our visions is well defined in 4 parts, which actually that we have to work hard in order to achieve it, because one of the fundamental principles of success is hard working. So, number one, the first part just will teach you how to extract knowledge and the wisdom from the formal education that you are acquiring, whether in engineering or any science courses. And then number 2, then we are going to teach you to extract knowledge and wisdom from the Word of God that written in the Holy Bible. And number 3, we are going to teach you how to combine these two knowledge. And number 4, we are going to teach you how to solve real life problems. So our main objective in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, in square bracket Olenjolai, is to see our ongoing or our continuing students and even our graduate students solving real life problems. That's our joy, and that's our main objective. Myself, I'm a product of what I'm telling you. I'm a product of the formal educations. I'm a product also of the Word of God. So, and I'm a product also of combining these two knowledge in order to solve real life problems. You're asking me, what real life problems have you ever solved? The Olenjolai, the one that I'm solving right now, because this is a national program and even international program, but I'm focusing nationally. And right now, so that without any limitations of the physical meeting or times or whatever, we can use the digital technology and we can teach you at any times and anywhere. So don't hesitate yourself to join us. How you can join us? Please just see that you have, I think that right now, before even we go into sessions, you see a button that has been written as subscribe. So you have to click these buttons, and once you click it in, then the bell will appear. Click these bells and then choose the options of all. So but you have to make sure that you have an email. So in case that you don't have an email, just spend almost 1 minute to have a new emails of Gmail or Yahoo, and then you subscribe. Why should you subscribe? That are good questions. Well, in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, we are going to have so many videos, more than 300 videos, which will be teaching you about the basic engineering, scientific mathematics. So it means that every day will be faithful to add at least one video. So we ask you to subscribe in order to get official notification from the YouTube community once that we upload any new video. So we have so many departments. One of the departments is called Basic Engineering, Scientific Mathematics. And then also the course of the day is called Conics. In some of the institutions, they call it coordinate geometry and differential coefficient. And today we are going to focus into the second part, which is differential coefficient. Because conics is another story and differential coefficient is another story. But both of these stories are beautiful stories of mathematics. For those who love mathematics, get prepared. One of our specific objectives to make all our students to love mathematics. And then so another specific objective is to help you to make sure that you achieve and you have an excellent performance in your continuing assessment, right? So is there any place that you can stay? But this cannot replace your fundamental, your formal education. So you have to attend your regular sessions. So we are in chapter 3, which is called differential coefficient. And then the subtopic is subtopic 1, that's called general introductions of differential coefficient. DE means differential coefficient, abbreviation differential coefficient. We are in lecture 1, general introductions of the differential coefficient. And also I'd like to invite you, in case you feel from your heart that you want to offer God your free willing thanksgivings, offering 0759-745-3331. And this module or course in many institutions or colleges or universities has been taught in the first semester of the third year of ordinary diploma level. So that's all about what you are going to have. Make sure that you share these contents, you invite your colleagues, your senior students. But before, just have one of the announcement that just to share with you. Why should you offer your free willing thanksgiving? We have a very high running cost in preparing so actually one video in online and in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania square bracket Olenjolai. God didn't allow us to charge you any amounts of money, but you can offer your free willing thanksgivings of any amount to support the running cost, so that hundreds of the videos of basic engineering and scientific mathematics will be in air in order to just teach and train present and future generations. So just remember that you do it by faith and you offer it to God. Again, just before we go to the sessions, we have also an online library in Tanzania, in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania. And in our online library, we have some books which can help you in learning the subject of basic engineering and scientific mathematics for 6 semesters in your 3 years of learning or 2 years of learnings. Maybe in some of the courses you can have 2 years. It means 4 semesters, and some of the courses you can have 3 semesters, and some of the courses can have 6 semesters of mathematics. So regardless of the number of semesters, but this book of Pure Mathematics 1 by Backhouse is very important. It will be a very important weapon. It will accompany you in so many aspects of basic engineering scientific mathematics. So you can order it and just go to the descriptions in order to know how much does it cost, so that you can enjoy for your life. But again, so you have a scientific calculator. We're going to need this one for all the times, for all the courses or modules that we are going to cover in this online institution. So you can order this original scientific calculator we have in our online library. So you can order it and you can ship it in any regions of 31 regions of United Republic of Tanzania. So, well, so now I think that you are ready. Take your exercise book, take your pen, take your scientific calculator, take your reference book, and then have a fresh mind. Let us go to the work right now and get prepared to get good news concerning about the differential question. Well, so let us go to the interesting business, okay? So, there's no any quick review because it's the lecture 1. We have a big picture of mathematics. Let me begin just from this point. We have a big picture of mathematics. Okay, big picture of mathematics. And this big picture of mathematics is actually that we have so many different types of different branches of mathematics. Some is called algebra. It's one of the branch. Another branch is called the probability and statistics. But one of the interesting branch of mathematics is called the analysis or analytical mathematics, but this one is called the analysis or analytical, called the analytical maths. So in analytical mathematics also we have a very interesting topic that's called the calculus, right? I want to begin with this big picture. So when you are asking yourself, because I know that what is this man is speaking is about big picture of mathematics again. I love it so much. So in the subject of the calculus, this is very interesting. It has been introduced by Sir Isaac Newton, and other mathematicians also made great contributions in this subject of calculus that is changing the world, because it's the one of the subject that nowadays it is a cross-cutting subject of engineering and science. So these calculus are actually that it has three main topics. The first one is called differentiation, differentiation, or sometimes they call it differential calculus. And the second one is called integration. And the third one, which we are going to discuss today for the first time for ordinary diploma students, is called differential equation. Say differential equation. Okay? Say differential equation. So we have this subject of calculus, right? So let me just begin, because this is a general introductions of the differential equation. As I said that we have, yes. So let me begin from this context. Let me just write there the word calculus. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, pronounce that fantastic way. Say calculus. Say calculus. Do you love calculus? Tell me in the comment sections, please. And interact with me by asking questions concerning about what am I teaching you, whether you didn't understand a certain point. In the comment section, please, I will be interacting with you and also interact with other students, because you know that this is the live class and this is the active learning, right? So we need serious students. We are very serious, and get prepared to have so many things for the rest of your life. Okay. So we have the fundamental question, before even I give you the subtopics that we are going to cover. The fundamental question that comes in my mind when I was preparing myself to teach you is, what is calculus? Because differential equation is the one of the branch of calculus, right? So first of all, do we know the meanings of calculus? That's the question that we have in this board. What is calculus? Who can define calculus? You can pause the video and hence write on the piece of paper, try yourself, and then you keep on, you press the buttons of play, and then you check the answer whether you are right or you're not right. All right? So what is calculus? 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 Ladies and gentlemen, what is calculus? Okay? So there are so many definitions of calculus, but let me give you two. And then once I give you two, then you can find the rest. Let me refer one of the dictionary, that's Oxford Dictionary. Calculus is the branch is a branch of mathematics. This is the branch of mathematics. The branch of mathematics that deals with with the finding and properties of derivatives. Properties of derivatives and integrals of function. Integrals of functions by method originally based on the summation. Originally, this is according to Newton, originally based on the summation of infinitesimal differences. Infinitesimal differences. This is according to Oxford Dictionary. So we say that in calculus is a branch of mathematics, first of all, as I have said here. In mathematics, you have so many branches: probability and statistics, algebra, analytic mathematics. So we have trigonometric is another branch of mathematics. So we have so many branches of logics is another branch of mathematics, or just we call it Boolean algebra. Set, because set logic and all about functions is another analytic. That's it. We find in analytic, linear programming. So we have so many branches. Complex number is another branch of mathematics. So we have so many branches, but one of the branch is what? Calculus. Okay, that deals with the finding and the properties of derivatives and integrals of the function by method originally based on the summation of infinitesimal differences. What are the meanings of infinitesimal differences? Well, so this is the concept that Sir Isaac Newton has introduced into the world, that for instance, you want to find the volumes of this duster, right? You want to find the volumes of this duster. So the shape of this duster is actually that possibly it is very huge. So it cannot deal with the entire of this duster. So what the means of infinitesimal? So it means that Newton said that it can take a small segment of this duster. So suppose that this is our duster, right? This is our duster. Okay, our duster. So you take this small segment, right? And this small segment, for instance, that here you have a width which you call T W, and then here we have possibly the length of this duster. So you can find that here this small segment will be dW, and this in case of the length, that is in case of the length, this we call T dr. So because we can have so many small segments, right? So you can have another small segment, you can have another small segment, you can have another small segment, you can find another small segment, small segment, small segment. So if you find the formula, for instance, that let's say that we have maybe the area, if you want to find the volume of this duster, possibly the formula is 1, 3, or 1, let's say that, yes, 1 over 3, let's say, or 4 over 3, let's say, pi r square dr. So if you integrate, for instance, this formula, then you get the entire volume of 40 of the duster, right? So that's the meanings of summations of 40 infinitesimal. So because we are just proceeding with our subject, so I think that let me give you the homework. Just to go and find the second definitions of calculus, right? That will be your homework. So we say that branches of calculus. And here we are talking about single variable function, multivariable function, and multivariable function, branches of calculus, right? So we say that in mathematics, there are three branches of calculus. Okay, and these three branches of calculus, the first one I've already mentioned there is called differentiation. Say differentiation. Okay, and then the second one is called the integration. Say integration. Pronounce it. I know that possibly you have been made to hate it, but believe me that once you join into online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, then you will start love it for the rest of your life. So this we go to differential question. Differential question, in short, let's do go to DE. So these are the three branches of calculus. So today, as I gave you a promise, we are going to learn about it. I'm going to give you the general introductions of differential questions, which is DE. So in this topic of differential question, we are going to discuss so many concepts. Okay, I'm going to teach you so many concepts according to the syllabus or curriculums of NACTE. That's the best. Remember that we are focusing on the syllabus of NACTE. However, that the contents that you are going to cover are universal, but we take our primary focus on the syllabus of NACTE. So before we go into too much details, then let us take now our branch now, or our subject, or our topic of the day that's called differential equation, right? So in differential equation, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you subtopics of differential equation that we are going to cover in this course, right? So in this course, we are going to cover basically 4 subtopics of differential equation. If you are a graduate of advanced secondary education, especially in Tanzania, you have possibly learned about differential equation during your Form 6 education, because we are also teaching. And the good news, I have also another online advanced school for advanced students. If you are come from a graduate from ordinary secondary education and hence that you are in 3rd year right now, don't worry, because I won't ignore you. I will take you into considerations and will understand more than you think that you have been expecting to understand about differential equation. And another thing that in many colleges and institutions and universities in Tanzania, this part of this module for the first semester of the 3rd year, or whatever the year and semester in institutions, it's actually used to provide the contents for the test 2, right? Especially for the Dar es Salaam Institute of Technology, where there are more than 10 courses. They are learning this module or this course. So these are the contents for the test 2, so you have to focus on that. If you did bad in test 1, don't worry. Listen careful, follow along, I will be with you. I won't leave you alone. I will be simplifying and using a very simple language for any ordinary students to understand and love all of this stuff and change your life for the rest of your life, right? Stay connected and stay tuned. Make sure that you subscribe for you to get notifications of every session, because this is lecture 1. We are going to have more than 15 lectures of differential equation. So stay connected. So we say that there are 4 subtopics or 40 of differential equation, right? In this module or course. And this, the first one, we call it a general intro. Ladies and gentlemen, introductions, I just write the abbreviations intro. Intro 40 of differential equation, which I'm teaching right now. The second subtopic, I'll teach you about forming. How can you forming of 40 of differential equation? How can you form differential equation? Then I'll be teaching you about different techniques of solving first order ordinary differential equation. And therefore, the fourth subtopic, I'll be teaching you how you can solving secondary order ordinary differential equation. That's all. Right? So stay tuned. So we are in the first subtopic. So keep on praying, and I'll keep on praying so that we may go through first subtopic, second, third, and finally we get into the fourth subtopic of interesting and the fantastic second order ordinary differential equations. Right? Do you love it? Do you love basic engineering and scientific mathematics? Tell me in the comment sections, please, that Olenjolai, I do love this subject. Okay, so let us go to the general introduction. So now let me present to you contents that we are going to cover after mentioning the subtopics. Let me give you the overview. Contents of 40 of differential equation. DE means differential equation. What am I going to teach you in this module or in this topic? The first thing, okay, so actually just number 321. First of all, I'll just give you definition and types of ordinary differential equation or types of differential equation, right? Then I'll teach you that is the business of today, and then we teach you about we call them just like, okay, so we call properties of ordinary differential equation, right? Because we have already taught you about types of differential equation, so we'll take you into properties of ordinary differential equation. Yes, all about that, linearity, nonlinear, degree, order, first order, second order. So we'll be just covering all of this stuff. And then the third concept that now we are going to teach you about forming differential equation. And then the fourth concept now will be taking you after forming, we'll be teaching you on solving. Because here we'll be forming first order and second order. So remember that here we are going to focus on first and second order, right? So just let me abbreviate like that. Then solving first order ordinary differential equation. So in solving this stuff, the first method I'll teach about by direct integration method. We'll be using our direct integration method. Okay. Then the second method, I'll teach you how you can solve first order differential equation by separating variables. Then afterwards, I'll teach about, after teach about separating variables, I'll teach about exact method. So this also is method, exact method. How you can solve first order by using exact method. Then the first technique that I'll teach about how you can solve ordinary differential equation by using integrating factor method. And using integrating factor method. Then the next method that I will teach you after teaching integrating factor method, I'll teach about Bernoulli's technique. Bernoulli's. Let me check the spelling, please. Bernoulli's. Let me check because I want to be accurate. I want to be yes, Bernoulli's method. So we call it Bernoulli's technique. So I think that this will be the last method for solving these ordinary differential equations of the first order. So the next step I will teach about solving second order ordinary differential equation. Okay? Right. So then, in case of solving this second order ordinary differential equation, first of all, we'll be using separating method. We use integrating factor first of all. Integrating factor. Okay, here, then she comes into these characteristics. So it means that we'll be using 5.1 integrating factor of solving second integrating factor of solving second order differential equation. So the next concept we'll teach about characteristics or auxiliary quadratic equation. Auxiliary quadratic equation. Okay, auxiliary quadratic equations. Simply called A, Q, A. So here we'll be teaching you, when we teach about auxiliary quadratic equation, we have general equations of the second order. So mean that solution of second order ordinary differential equation with b square greater than 4ac. I'll teach you what does it mean. Then 3.8, solution of second order ordinary differential equation with b square is equal to 4ac. Then 3.9, I'll be teaching you solution of second order ordinary differential equation with b square less than 4ac. And then the last part will be solving problems. Solving problems of what? Solving problems of ordinary differential equation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the overview. This is the expectations, what you should be expecting once you stay tuned in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania in departments of Basic and basic mathematics, basic engineering and scientific mathematics. So this is what you have to expect and you have to keep on praying so that you may achieve it together and you understand every concept. And I'll be trying my level best that in every sessions that I will leave the homework, we are going to solve so many questions, more than 30 examples on the blackboard together, I and you. So we need active students. So get prepared, be more energetic, and hence focus it to begin with me from this first subtopic or first concept that you have to cover to the 10th concept. So don't get tired along the way. Don't be disappointed. Don't see that things are difficult. Differential questions for ordinary diploma is simple. It's not difficult as maybe for the differential questions for the advanced secondary education. However, that if for those who are doing advanced secondary education, their differential questions is almost what we are covering in ordinary diploma is almost 80% of what advanced secondary students they used to cover according to the new syllabus. So you have to stay focused, and then you have to expect great things, and then you have to keep on loving basic engineering, scientific mathematics. So I believe that we're gonna be together. Isn't? Tell me in the comment section, please, because I want to join you, and I expect it to join you every time concerning about differential questions, because really I have a lot of things. Remember that Olenjolai does not know everything concerning about differential question. I just know small portions of differential question, but God has given me permission to teach millions of present and future generation students who about what I know concerning about differential question. I'm always learning differential questions. For me, learning calculus is a part of my life, my daily life, right? So stay connected, okay? So we know now the definitions of calculus. And then we say that you have three main branches of calculus. One branch is called differentiation, the other branch is called the integration, and the other branch is called the differential question. So now, what is the differential question? Pause the video and then try to write on the piece of paper, what do you think yourself are the best mathematicians or best technicians who are expecting you to take the knowledge of mathematics and apply in engineering, to take the knowledge of mathematics and apply in science. So what is differential questions? What if, for example, that somebody asks you, okay, and find you are solving differential questions, and let's ask you, what is differential questions, man? So how can you answer that questions? It's better for you to know the definition of the term before you go into too much details. Because that definitions, it will click in your minds, and even if you're solving problems, you have the basic concepts and you have the foundations. That's the fundamental. Remember that in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, in square bracket Olenjolai, we have a unique way of teaching and training our students. We always teach and train our students from the fundamental concept, and we get into intermediates, and then we go to the higher level and higher level until we reach to the end. We don't move just around the ways that we are starting from the foundations and then we jump into the mid of the course, no, of the topic, no. We'll be taking you slowly, and trying our level best to simplify this concept. So even those seasonal mathematicians can take this stuff and find that they're helpful for the rest of their life, right? So what is differential question? This is the second question now. Second question that you have to ask yourself. What is differential? What is differential question? What is differential question, ladies and gentlemen? What is differential question? Right? Before we start, okay, we have all of this stuff. What is differential question? Okay, I believe you can pause the video, answer it, and then after a short time, maybe 3 minutes to 2 minutes, when you are done, you click the buttons of play, and then you check the answer. So I found so many definitions of differential questions, but I have this one, which is interesting. Differential questions are an equation that contain dependent and independent variable with their respective differential coefficient. So differential equation, ladies and gentlemen of ordinary diploma, differential equation is an equation. It's not a vehicle, it's an equation, right? That contains, these equations contains, it's a mathematical equations contains independent. Say independent. This is very important word, independent, and the contains independent and dependent variables. So we have variables, ladies and gentlemen, independent and dependent variables with the year and this, with the year and this work, and these two variables also they have the year respective derivatives, respective differential derivatives. Okay, differential derivatives. So we call the respective differential coefficient. Differential derivatives. Okay, differential derivatives. That's the best one. Differential derivatives, not coefficient, because coefficients ends will be discussing about something else. So this is the definition of differential, one of the definitions of differential equation. I can leave the homework for you. Look for the secondary definition of differential equation. So differential equation is an equation. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to learn in the first concept to the 10th concept? We are going to learn an equation. But that equation has specific properties that we've never encountered in our life. And those properties, just 3 properties, which are very important. Number 1, that equations contain what? Independent and dependent variables. And then, so it means that equation contains independent variables, contains dependent variable, contains differential derivatives. So it means that a differential equation, it may contain either all of these or some of these, that independent variable should be there, dependent variable, and also dependent variable, but also it can have something called the differential derivatives. But also it can have another part we call the differential coefficients. So simply, that is. So what are we going to discuss is an equation which have what? Independent variable, either 1 or 2, right? Independent variable, either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, it depends. And also it's going to have what? One dependent variable. Dependent variable always is 1, right? And then it's going also to have what? Differential derivatives. And then, you know what's going to happen? It's going also, these equations also, it should have coefficient. I will show you in a minute right now. So we say that the general form, so we say that because actually that in the general forms we have different orders of ordinary differential equations, but we can say that the general form is actual, for the first order. So you can have maybe a general form, general form. However, I didn't teach you what the meanings of first order. So general form of first order, I will teach you, okay, first order of ordinary differential equation, right, of differential equations in general, is we say that it is P of x, dy, dx. I think that this is not a great deal. I will teach about, I can confuse you. Let me just go straight forward into examples of differential equation. Before I teach about types, let me, ladies and gentlemen, mention examples of differential equation. The first example of differential equation is dy dx is equal to 4. This is the differential equation. Why? Because this is a dependent variable, this is the independent variable, this we call the differential coefficient, this is the constant, not differential derivative, but the coefficient x1. Okay? The second one, we can have, let's say, dy dt plus 4t is equal to 0. This is the differential equation. The third example, also you can have partial of u, partial of x plus partial of u as second derivative partial of x, partial of y. This is equal to e power x This we call the partial derivatives. I will teach you. We don't cover it, we'll cover it in undergraduate level. Don't worry, we are just introducing to you and give you some examples. The first example, we can have second example, differential questions plus cos of x, then dy dx minus 4y is equal to 3x. This is another example for differential equation, right? Again, we can have another example of differential equation of uxx plus cos of x uxy minus u of y or u of y plus u is equal to 0. Don't worry about this, I will teach about notation soon. Then the sixth example of differential equation, also you can have a differential equation which you use these notations that y double dash minus 4y is equal to ln of x. These are differential equations. All of these are examples of differential equation. Don't worry, everything will be revealed. That's why that you have decided to be in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, where we simplify all the stuff about basic engineering and scientific mathematics, and we want to prepare basic technicians, right? Are you ready to be, do you want to be a basic technician? If the answer is yes, stay tuned here. We'll be incubating you step to step at the level that even yourself, you'll get surprised at how did they get into this stage, because God is here. Okay. So these are the examples of what? Those are some examples, not all the examples. We can have also example 7. We can have, let's say, sine of x, then we have dy or d, okay, yes, dy dx square, but this one, we say that cubic minus 4 ln of x is equal to e power x. So all of these are, we call them differential equations. So before we teach you about notations, because we showed you different notations there, don't worry about that. Olenjolai is there, and he has been sent by God in order to reveal the secrets about this. Especially, I know that for those who are graduate from Ordinal, from Form 4, right? From the class 12 or from Form 4, this stuff might seem like new. Don't worry. You're gonna master them, and you're gonna love them for the rest of your life, and you never forget them. And you have to keep this piece of information. Differential equations, we are building the foundation for ordinary diploma students, but you are going to discuss, or you are going to learn also differential equation in undergraduate level, which is the next level after this level. So make sure to keep these contents for the rest, and keep them in your mind. Don't keep only in the exercise books. Keep them in your mind. Keep the materials that I'm going to give you. They're gonna be helpful in your next level of undergraduate educations or bachelor educations in engineering and science courses, right? So then, ladies and gentlemen, let me now introduce to you about, or take you into the next step, which you call the types of differential equations. So DE, remember that I've said that this is the universal, I'll be using these abbreviations. Remember that. DE, D dot E, this means differential equation, right? So we're using that abbreviations in order to redeem the time. Okay, types of differential equation. So the question that we have, which question is what are the types? Are the types of sorting of differential equation? What are the types of differential equation? Differential equation. Well, so we say that in calculus there are two types. There are two types of differential equation. These are, the first one, we call it ordinary differential ordinary differential equation. Ordinary differential equation. We simply, in abbreviations, we call it ODE. And this is what we are going to cover in this course or in this module. The second type we'll cover it in our undergraduate education. The good news that also I'm going to teach you higher engineering and scientific mathematics for undergraduate students. Either whether you study this, study mathematics for 3 semesters in your undergraduate education or 4 semesters, we are going to be together. So stay tuned. Right? We have another online institution that's called the Online Undergraduate Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, OLENJOLAIM. Well, and right now that we have begun to teach undergraduate students simultaneously while we are teaching you. So ordinary differential equation. The second type is called we call it partial differential. Say partial differential equation. I'll be linking your course or this is called the PDE, your course or your modules of ordinary diploma with undergraduate diploma. So what you'll need in undergraduate, I'll be linking all your courses, all the 6 courses that you're teaching right now in departments of basic mathematics and the basic engineering mathematics and the basic scientific mathematics with the undergraduate engineering and scientific mathematics. So I will be linking. So what you need, you will need in the next level of your academic, I will be telling you and insisting to keep it for the rest of your life. So you have 2 types of differential equation. That's called ordinary differential equation and partial differential equation. This is called the partial differential equation. The good news that we introduced to you a little bit about partial differential equation when we'll be teaching you about parametric differentiation in the topic of differentiation, right? In the modules that call the principle of counting the matrices and differentiation. We taught you a little bit about parametric differentiation, but it was just a slight introductions. There's a special topic in undergraduate mathematics, which we call the higher engineering and scientific mathematics, where that we teach students all about the partial differential equation for undergraduate students, which is a little bit higher compared to parametric differentiation. So, let me define each of these 2 types and give you examples. And give you first of all the notation of each and give you examples. Right? Are you ready for that? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, you are ready. So tell me that you're ready. So the first type is called the ordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, say ordinary differential, because if you say it will click in your mind and it remains for the rest of your life. Ordinary differential equation. Ordinary differential equations, in bracket it is ODE. We have a fundamental question for what is ordinary differential equation? What is ODE in abbreviation? So simply say that ordinary, there are so many definitions. Ordinary differential equation, ordinary differential equation, we say that this is an equation. It's an equation which contains single dependent and independent, single dependent and independent variable and their respective differential derivative coefficients. Differential equation is an equation or is a type of differential equation that contains, so this one contains what? That contains single, okay, independent, and the dependent variables with with respect with their respective ordinary differential, their ordinary differential derivative, their ordinary differential derivatives. So that the definition, you have to listen carefully about ordinary differential equations, because that's the heart of our topic. The heart of our topic is ordinary differential equation. So ordinary differential equation, let me explain. Ordinary differential equation is an equation that contains single, one means one, independent and dependent variables with their respective, this is their, right? With their respective ordinary differential derivatives. When you say that a single dependent variable, what does it mean? For example, if you have a polynomial function like this one, y squared plus x plus 4x, let's say minus 1. This is a single dependent variable, and this is single independent variable. So if you have y as dependent variable, then x will have x possibly as independent variable. If you have y as dependent variable, we have t as independent variable. If you have x as dependent variable, you have t as independent variable. If you have maybe x as dependent variable, and then so you have theta as independent variable. So it depends to the formality of the question. But remember that this is all about single variable. So we call it a single variable. So it means that sometimes this we call it a single variable differential equation. So let me just give you that note. Ordinary differential equation is also known as what? A single variable differential. Single variable differential is also known as single variable differential equation. That is what we call ordinary differential equations. Is also known as single variable differential equation. So, okay, so I think that let me give you examples. Then so I'll teach you. But before I give you examples, I think, ladies and gentlemen, it's better if I give you notation first. Let me teach you about notation of 40 of ordinary differential equation. And in each notation, I will give you examples. Right? Is it fair for you? Yeah. Okay. So notation of ordinary differential equation. There are so many ways that we can, so we say that the ordinary differential equation can be notated basically, the ordinary differential equation can have this notation, right? The first notation is it can be using this differential coefficient, dy dx, or you can have the set for the second derivative, or you can have for the third derivative, or we can have for the first derivative, the first derivative, etc. So in these notations, we can have these examples. So remember, in these notations, so let me explain to you. With this notation, this first notation, y is dependent variable, x is independent variable. Y is dependent variable, x is independent variable. Y is dependent variable, x is dependent variable. Y is dependent variable, x is dependent variable. But before I give you an example, because we'll be finding some other variables, so you can have also the y d theta. You can also have the xc, today x it is dependent, dt, right? dt. You can have also, so independent, right? You can have also the xc, then d theta. You can have also the y d theta. So we have so many different variables that we can encounter in real life problems, and we model them in that style. So with this notation, let me give you examples that once you see these differential equations, you know that these are ordinary differential equations. They are not a partial differential equation. So the first example is, we say that we use always to begin with a simple example. Okay, 3y is, or even 3x, it's fine. Okay, 3x is fine. Just to bring that way. Then we can have the second derivative dy dx minus 4. Then we have sine of x dy dx is equal to what? To 2. And also you can have another example. The third derivative of x with respect to t minus 4 plus 3. Then we have dx dt, and then possibly that this one there's a d plus 3, then minus what? 4y is equal to e power t, or 4x, excuse me, 4x. Then the first example of this notation, we can also have we can also have let's say second derivative of y, then we say that plus 3 first derivative of y with respect to x, then plus 5y is equal to 0. We also have another example that first derivative of x with respect to theta, and this one maybe we have power 3 minus 4 sine of theta, and then we have the x over d theta is equal to ln of what? Is equal to ln of theta. Ln of theta. So all of these examples are examples of what? Ordinary differential equation by using the first notations of differential derivatives. So remember that all of this one, and this one, and this one, I think that now, yes, let me just take one of example. So, okay, let me take one of example. Yes, I think that is the time now to show you the 4 components of a differential equation. So let me show you the 4 components of ordinary differential equations that we mentioned in the definitions of differential equation, right? By just using this. So then we can have the 6th example that we have sine of x then we say that sine of x first derivative dy dx, then plus what? Plus ln of x, then ln of x, then we say y is equal to what? Is equal to a over x. So with this one, we can identify, for example, that this differential equation, first of all, we want to know independent variable. So for this differential equation, the independent variable is x, right? X is independent, does not depend any other variable. Then we want to know dependent variable, right? Because we mentioned, we said a differential equation is an equation which containing dependent and the independent variables with their respective differential coefficients. So dependent variable for this case is y. Then we mentioned about the differential derivative. So differential derivative for this case, for this equation, is only one, which is dy dx. So here we have one differential derivative. Here we have how many? One differential derivative, two differential derivative, first and second. Here we have two differential derivative. Here we have two differential derivative. Here we have two differential derivative, right? So that's what we call the differential derivative. But again, we have another term called the differential coefficients. So differential coefficient, these are the either function or a constant that preceding a differential derivative. So you say differential coefficient for this case is sine of x. While in this case, differential coefficient is 1. Here, differential coefficient is negative 4 sine x. Here, differential coefficient is 1. Differential coefficient is 3. And then here, differential coefficient is 1. Differential coefficient is 3. Differential coefficient is 1. And differential coefficient is negative 4 sine of theta. So a differential coefficient can be a function, and especially that we'll teach you in an undergraduate level with the concept that we'll be teaching about differential equation when we'll be solving this by using the power series method, where the differential coefficient is no longer a constant, but it is a function, and we'll be focusing on the polynomial because we can use existence theorem and or Frobenius theorem, depends whether the differential equation possesses an ordinary point or a singular point. Those are the advanced issues that I'm introducing to you because I want to prepare your mind to expect so many issues and so many concepts. So remember that in an undergraduate level, I will be teaching you about the ordinary differential equation, but those ordinary differential equations which do not have a constant coefficient of differential coefficient or constant coefficient, but they have function or they have variable coefficients. So that's what we focus. But again, in undergraduate level, we teach about 20 partial differential equations in detail. So it depends to the curriculums of your institutions or college or university. For instance, at the Dar es Salaam Institute of Technology, where that most technicians used to pursue their undergraduate education, that we teach our students about partial differential equation in the second semester of the first year. And we teach our students about solving or power series solutions of ordinary differential equation in the first semester of the second year. So stay tuned and expect so many things to be around your corner. So that's the first notation. But we have also the second notation, which is very famous. We can also notate differential coefficient or differential equation by using these notations of differential coefficient, because we change only the notation of differential coefficient. So the first derivative of differential coefficient, we can use just the y dash, and then for the second derivative or second differential coefficient, we use y double dash. For the third, we use y triple dash. But y, it's a dependent variable. So for the fourth, we use this one, etc., etc. But if x is a dependent variable, also you are going to have x dash, then you are going to have x double dash, Just we can have x triple dash because we just differentiate the second derivative to get the third derivative. Then we are going to have x triple tetra dash. So etc. Right? So it depends to the what the dependency variable. So with this one, let me give you examples commonly. We have another notations also, but that is special for differentiation. We don't use it in differential equation, which is this one, f of x dash. So this we use it often in differentiations, not in differential equation. So for instance, that in this example, I can write all of these 6 examples in the second notations, and I want you to be familiar because in some cases, especially that when we'll be pursuing or learning about ordinary differential equation from undergraduate, you encounter differential equations in this form more than this form. So for instance, example 1, in this notation you can write y single dash plus 3x is equal to 0. Then the second one, we just write at y double dash plus what? Y double dash minus 4 sine of x, then y single dash is equal to 2. Then for the third example, we have what? X triple dash, then we plus with what? We plus with x double dash, like square. Here we have coefficient of 3 minus 4x, then is equal to e power t. Then the fourth example, we can write as y double dash, right? Plus what? 3 single dash, or y single dash, plus what? 5y is equal to 0. The fifth example, we have also x tetra dash power what? Power 3 minus 4 sine of theta. Then there we have what? We have x single dash. Then we say that this is equal to ln of theta. Well, 6 example. Sine of x. Wonderful. Now you enjoy the beauty of mathematics. Okay, the beauty of basic engineering and scientific mathematics. It's now coming in your mind. Ln of x, y is equal to 0. So you see, now you are competent enough concerning about ordinary differential equation. Okay, so that is, we have so many notations that we'll be experiencing them as long as we keep in touch, we'll keep on moving. But let me just end up this session with introducing to you about the partial differential equation, which I'm not going to give you too much information because it's beyond of the syllabus of this course or module, but you have to stay connected in order to collect, so that, because I will teach you soon, I will teach you in the other in the next level, or in the next level of your education in undergraduate level. So the second type, we say that partial differential equation. But before even, just let me write note. In this course or module, we are going to teach you only ordinary differential equation. Dealing with only differential equation. Partial differential equation. Let me introduce you. What does it mean? Partial differential equation. Ladies and gentlemen, say partial differential equation. In abbreviations, we call it PDE. That is ODE. This is PDE. And then you know that once I teach you anything new or any new concept, we begin from the fundamental level. What does it mean? What the meanings of partial differential equation? If you know now the meanings of ordinary differential equation, can you predict what the meanings of partial differential equation? Tell me in the comment sections, please. So the next question, this will be hopefully question number 5. What is partial differential equation? That's the question that we have in this board. We have so many definitions, but I form one which is actual, that interesting. This one. Partial differential equation. Partial differential equation is an equation which contains one dependency, listen carefully, dependency variable only one dependency variable. Also, it contains more than one independency variable. More than one independency variable. More than one independency variables with their respective partial derivatives. Their partial derivatives. So that are the definitions of partial differential equation. Partial differential equation is an equation which contains one dependent variable, more than one independent variables with their respective partial derivatives. That's all. Contain one dependent variable, more than one, so it means at least 2 independent variables, and their respective partial derivatives with respect to what? With respect to the more than one independent variables. So we have so many videos, and in another online institution that called the Online Undergraduate Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, teaching you about these concepts of partial derivatives. So I'm not going into too much details. So we have 2 notations. So let me give you general examples. Okay, general examples. Okay. So we have 2 notations, and I will give you the 2 examples. We have 2 common notations, 2 common notations of partial derivative. The first one is this one: partial of u, partial of x, minus partial of u, partial of y. This is equal to u. These notations also you can write as u of x minus u of subscript of y is equal to u. Say the example, we can have that second derivative of u with respect to y, then minus second derivative or minus first derivative with respect to x, then my plus 4, then second derivative of u with respect to y with respect to x. This is equal to 0. Don't bother yourself to claim this is stuff. So this one also you can write in another notation, that this is u of y, right? Second derivative. Then this is u subscript of x plus 4. This is u subscript of x of y first, and then x is equal to 0. The fifth example you can also have a function coefficient at cos of x, u of x y daily minus u of x y plus ln of x u is equal to 0. So all of these are examples of what of partial differential equation. So as I told you, that don't burst your mind on understanding what happened there, but remember that in all of those 5 examples we have more than one independent variable. Just to give you a bonus, you want me to give you a bonus? This is our dependent variable. So only one dependent variable, which is u, but here we have 2 independent variables, x and y. This is what we call partial derivative. So we differentiate this function with respect to x while we kept y constant, by means of partial. Then here, this is the dependent variable. This x is independent and y is dependent. Here, y and the x are independent variables, and u is dependent variable. Similarly, here y and x are independent variable, u is dependent variable. While here x, y, z are independent variables, independent variable, while u it's what? It's dependent variable, and this cos and ln of x, those are the normal function. So it's a time right now that let me end these sessions, and I would like to invite you in the next session. Let me leave homework 1 because I want you to be active student. Okay, so active students. And then the first, let me leave you only 1 question because I know you have a lot to revise. With 8 of examples, 8 of examples, define the term order of differential question. So this ordinary differential question, now we know that we are dealing with ordinary differential question. So you say when we say about differential question, we mean it's the ordinary differential question. When we are dealing with partial, we mentioned that we are dealing with partial differential question. But the good thing that the ordinary differential questions carries also the names of the differential questions. So once we pronounce that we are solving a differential question, in your mind as ordinary diploma students, you have to know that we are dealing with about 30 ordinary differential questions. So remember that ordinary differential question is equivalent to differential questions in entire of this course or module. So this is the end of the lecture 1, that general introductions of the differential question. I thank God who have created me in his own image and likeness. And I thank God who have given and built his gift of teaching. And I thank God who have given me this great idea to teach some hundreds and even thousands of the international and national students by using the digital technology. And I thank God who have been with me in the preparations and even during the time of teaching, and who have given you opportunity to join me right now. I really thank God, and I thank you very much for tuning in Ordinary Diploma, in Online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, square bracket Olenjolai. This is a fantastic place for contents of Ordinary Diploma student. So I would like to ask you that make sure that you do this homework before we meet in the lecture 2, and submit your homework in the comment section below there, so that you will enjoy the beauty of basic and scientific mathematics. So I would like also to remind you, in case you feel from your heart that you have got something helpful, then I ask you that if you feel from your heart that you want to offer God your free willing thanksgiving for what He brought to you, free of charge, you don't pay anything else. These are the worst content, but you can send your free willing thanksgiving offering or any types of the offering to God through online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, square bracket Olenjolai, and through this telephone number at 0759 745331, and your offering will really support the running cost for this program. I ask you to subscribe because we are going to have more than 300 videos of basic engineering and scientific mathematics, and especially that in this platform, so in this online institution. So make sure to subscribe so that you get notifications. I want to tell you that every day we are adding at least one video in online Diploma Polytechnic Institute of Tanzania, square bracket Olenjolai. We don't want you to miss. We want you to be the first one to be informed and even to benefit on the videos and this material that we are making for ordinary diploma. So stay forecasted. Think how you can take this piece of information that I've taught you to solve the real life problems, because there is a real life problems that you